Welcome to episode 2 of the In the Box podcast. This episode is brought to you by Family. Sponsored by Family. Powered by Family. Okay, what's up, everybody?
If you if you can see us on Spotify or on YouTube right now, no, me and Joe did not join a boy band.
No.
We have been binging as many as we can.
All of them.
All of them.
Within the week. Crazy, bro.
Fast and Furious franchise.
I just want to say, there doesn't need to be 10. There's 10.
There are 10. Well, are we counting Hobbs and Shaw?
No.
I think we should count Hobbs and Shaw.
I mean, is like Vin Diesel in it? I've never seen Hobbs and Shaw.
But he's not in Tokyo. But Vin Diesel isn't in Tokyo Drift
in
either.
Yeah, he is.
He is?
Yeah, at the end.
See, okay.
Yeah.
That's the thing about a lot of these movies too, is that at some point they all mesh together, and they
just get so oversaturated and shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, so like we watched Fast 10, which is now in theaters. I think tied with Little Mermaid for #1 movie in America. But then again, every blockbuster that comes out is the #1 movie in America.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
so Fast 10, obviously starring Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese Gibson, Ludacris, I don't know his real name,
and another tiresome mentioning of the posthumous Paul Walker.
Yeah.
I will say that I think that is my one thorn about the series so far, is that even after he passed away, they still kind of invoke his name, and they still kind of make it feel like, try and like make it feel as if he's still there. And it's like,
yeah, it's a little weird.
What are y'all doing? Come on, stop already. They even did that. They did that in the most recent one too.
Yeah,
I remember.
So, in preparation for Fast 10, well, let me rewind. I told Dave, I was like, the next episode has to be on the Fast and the Furious franchise, because this is the most craziest non-based franchise that exists.
Non-based,
like non-based as in like so I'm sorry, like, so like there's not like a book. There's not a comic book. There's no like, it's not based on a true story or anything.
It's like a movie franchise that started as movies, and it wasn't based on anything before that. Yeah,
it's definitely one of the craziest franchises around, and there's really nothing else touching it, I don't think. Fast 10 came out, and I was like, we gotta watch all of them, because I want to know, because I hadn't seen any of them.
Yeah,
and I wanted to know how they got from street racing, which was the premise of like the first couple, to then in the 9th one, I believe they're in space.
Yeah. So, and here's the thing too, the Fast and Furious movies, when you see them out of context, and you remember at one point these movies were about like street racing.
Yeah.
And then you see them in space. I mean, out of context, it doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
At all, of course. I mean, even still, when you watch the movies in order, they still kind of don't make sense. But at least now, like when you now watching more of the movies, I started off not watching any of them. I hadn't seen any of them at all.
So like if you watch TV and stuff and have seen the trailer for Fast 10, and you've maybe seen the first Fast and the Furious or the second one or whatever, maybe Tokyo Drift's the only one you've seen, right? You're like, how the hell did they go from this to this, right? So I can honestly say, and me and Dave both agree, is it makes sense. The way that they write it, the production of it, and the writing makes it to where they have a really smooth transition, and that transition comes in Fast and the Furious 5.
Yeah.
And in Fast 5, Brian O'Connor, which is the late Paul Walker's character, now works for the FBI. And so the FBI is after Dominic Toretto, and then that's how they all kind of link up, and then he leaves the bureau and joins and like teams up with Vin Diesel's family.
Yeah.
And
you know what's funny is in the early movies, there's actually not very many mentionings of like family. You maybe get it maybe 3 or 4 times.
I think
holy shit, in Fast X.
In Fast X, the word family is said 57 times.
Yeah.
There's okay, so we were watching it, and do you guys know, like, whenever you're in school and you're sitting next to your friend in class and they say something that's maybe not that funny but funny at the time,
yeah,
and you're like laughing and you're like and you're like really trying not to laugh, you're like
yeah.
So I had one of those moments watching this movie because the opening scene of Fast 10 is, I shit you not, this is the dialogue. It's literally like,
guys, this is by the way one of our most like ADHD led type like episodes where, because we're just gonna be jumping back and forth to all different kinds. We're not talking about any specific. We're talking about all of them at once, basically.
Yeah. But in Fast 10, so like the opening is them like at the barbecue.
Yeah.
Which is how every movie ends. Every movie ends with them like at the barbecue drinking Coronas and shit.
Yeah.
And this movie starts with them at the barbecue, and Rita Moreno, I think she was in Fast 9. I don't know.
Yeah.
She's like sitting there and she's like, "Isn't it so awesome that we are a family, and together, by being a family, we achieve great things as a family." And then Dom, and
when we are together as a family,
when we're together as a family, and then
we can never go wrong.
And then there's a bunch of like B-roll of them just kind of like going like this.
Yeah, like,
and then Vin Diesel's character's like, fatherhood is all about family. And then he goes, and then he's like, Mom, Dad was never there to be a part of the family.
Yeah.
So I need to be there for my family.
and it's funny because he's having like this little like contemplative moment, just looking at photos of like him and Paul Walker, and then like his family like up on the like in the garage, and then the grandma just comes out of nowhere, and she like, I forgot what kind of corny ass line she throws out, but like this is like, what do you this isn't even something you start a conversation with, like this is.
And she was like the funniest part about that, which has made me like laugh, like how I described earlier, was one was the dialogue, but two, she was dressed like Elvis.
Oh my god!
Which was the funniest shit.
Yeah.
Like, I shit you not. Like, if you Google, if you Google like Elvis Presley 1970 whatever Suspicious Minds performance Las Vegas, she's wearing that same outfit. I shit you not. She's wearing the big belt, the popped collar. The rings. God. It was so hilarious.
So is Dom Mexican?
Yeah, so I don't know. I thought he was black.
And then I remember the dad, so in Fast and Furious 9, when they did like a flashback.
That's the one I haven't seen.
Okay, Fast and Furious 9, they do a flashback of Dom and his brother, right? And this was from like 1989. And the main guy who plays... he plays one of the main characters in the Mayans TV series. Well, anyway, he's
Emilio Rivera.
Yeah, Emilio Rivera. Okay, so he's Dom's father. He plays Dom's father in this flashback.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he plays Dom's father in this flashback.
So Dom's Mexican.
Pretty much, yeah. But I guess John Cena is also Mexican, or I guess
John Cena's Mexican.
I mean, look, if Emilio Estevez is Mexican, I mean. You know, I guess.
Am I Mexican? I'm starting to think maybe I'm not.
I don't know.
Because if they are, then I don't know.
Well, anyway, but
anyways, yeah.
Yeah, but
John Cena, bro.
Yeah,
he's a Mexican, bro, from the barrio.
Dude, they both had the same chains, the matching chains. Well, we saw it in Fast X, right? But
yeah.
Oh man.
I will say though, this movie, and like we're talking a lot of shit about the dialogue or whatever, but like what I've seen from these movies and my experiences watching them, as an adult, you know, as a kid they're obviously really cool, but as an adult, because I think I watched, I think I did watch Tokyo Drift as a kid, but they're just like a good time. Yeah. Like that's all they are. And they're definitely my guilty pleasure because everyone in the film, like literally every actor, seems like they're having the time of their lives. Yeah. And in Fast 10, the actor that is really having the time of his life is Jason Momoa. So Jason Momoa plays
Dante
Reyes, the son of Hernan Reyes.
Yeah, Hernan Reyes from Fast Five.
Fast Five, yeah, from Fast Five. Yeah. And the way they tie that up is, the way they like tie everything in together is like kind of like makes sense.
It's kind of cool, yeah. Like the whole like, because especially even with watching it, like with when I went back and actually saw Fast Five, and seeing how he was later incorporated into the movie. It was a pretty smooth transition.
They did it like seamlessly. Yeah. But it's also like carrying on the tradition, which was started I think in Fast 6. Yeah, so in Fast 6 and Fast 7, the villain Owen Shaw is in Fast 6, and then they defeat him, and then the villain's brother is the villain, Owen Shaw's brother, Deckard Shaw, played by Jason Statham, is the villain in Fast 7. So like it's almost they keep doing this thing where like the villain is somehow like associated with like, or they're the family member of whatever. So it's like, you destroyed my family, now I'm gonna destroy your family.
Which is crazy because you know what I think is kind of fucked up, that they're kind of like incorporating into like the kind of fucked up message that they're incorporating in the Fast and Furious franchises. Like, it's supposed to be all about family, right?
Yeah.
But then you're saying, like, twins are evil? Brothers are evil? Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Seems a little counterproductive, don't you think?
It's like, we don't talk about him.
Yeah, we don't talk about
They don't talk about Bruno.
No.
So.
We don't talk about, what's his name? Jacob. We don't talk about Jacob.
And also John Cena was really good in the movie.
Yeah.
He just looks, like literally everyone was like it would. I think this series would be really like the writing's not good in these movies, kind of, but it would be different if the acting also wasn't good. And that's the thing. It's like they may be saying some whack ass lines, but they're fucking like acting like they're saying that shit like
they're saying it with the confidence that's like, okay, well, they're very in their world.
Yeah, and like Jason Momoa and John Cena have some kind of ridiculous scenes.
Yeah.
But the way they act it is like very like it cuts, like it hits. Like every joke I think landed. Yeah. There wasn't a moment where I was like, oh, okay.
What is really hilarious to me though is that how they basically were like, because this is really obvious too that they did this, was in Fast 9 they have John Cena as like this kind of carbon copy of like Dom Toretto, basically. Pretty much that's how he's like playing his character, right? But then you have Fast X, and they're basically like, oh, he's just coming in like Peacemaker, basically. Like they basically just threw Peacemaker into the movie. Like,
it's so funny because like the way they make the movie is the same way as they would market the movie.
Yeah.
So it's like, much. Oh, John Cena is one way in Fast 9, but he's had a good year. He was in Suicide Squad, Peacemaker. Yeah. So that's the John Cena that audiences want to see. Pretty much. Whoever's producing Fast 10, they're like,
yeah,
let's give the audience that John Cena, which is kind of like a shitty way to make movies.
Yeah.
But in terms of like this series, it works. Like it works. And what they did with Jason Momoa, because for a while, ever since Game of Thrones, Jason Momoa was like this man's man.
Yeah.
Fucking riding motorcycles, eating beef, outdoorsman, throwing axes and shit.
Yeah.
And what they did with his character in this movie was like strip him away of all of that.
Like his most of his he comes off, I think he really does come off as like the perfect villain to opposite, like Dominic Toretto in this series. And I just kind of wish that he had been around a lot sooner, because he's like the perfect dancer for like Dominic Toretto, whereas like Dom is like this guy who takes himself, like even Vin Diesel, and like Vin Diesel's character, he takes himself very seriously, and Jason Momoa just counters all of that with like silliness, you know.
Well, every fast villain since 5 have basically matched Dominic Toretto, like in size or in skill. And Fast 7 is like the funniest, or quick thinking, and like Fast 7 is like the funniest shit because they all of a sudden that was the one where they make Dom like this superhuman. Yeah. Or I think after Fast 5 they make him like have powers or some shit.
I just realized I still have these fucking sunglasses on. Oh my god.
We still have these cutoffs, bro.
I didn't realize you were wearing them.
Yeah, I took mine off. I thought we were like.
I'm blind without these sunglasses, dude. I can't.
You're good. But
this must be what Andrew Tate feels like, honestly.
Yeah, just walking around smoking cigar, just in the house and shit. Just
your boyfriend's
around.
Recording you.
No, but yeah. So like the contrast in the type of villain that Jason Momoa is so good because like he's literally the opposite, like you were saying, like the opposite of Dom. Like he's I feel like a lot of the villains had like a purpose or whatever, and like Jason Momoa he's just evil. Like he doesn't care about anything. He wants to just kill. He wants to hurt. He wants to cause pain. He wants to there's like no rhyme or reason to him. And he's flamboyant and very like funny. Like in this movie, this has gotta be, I don't know about you, but this has gotta be like, in my opinion, one of Jason Momoa's like best roles.
It is. Like,
it's so goddamn fun.
The most entertaining to see for sure. You know, because
so fun in this movie, dude. Like I would watch the movie again just because of him.
I probably will be like watching the next like 2 because it's probably like a trilogy, right? They're doing like. They just kind of confirmed like a semi-trilogy, basically.
Yeah, Vin Diesel confirmed on the red carpet for Fast 10 that this was going to be a trilogy.
Yeah, so that being said, if they're going to keep him for like the next 2 movies, then sure, I'll definitely go back and see Jason Momoa. He easily was one of the best things about the movie. He chews up the scene every single time.
Every time, dude. Like I was upset because like I didn't get more. Yeah. Like if they ever not if they ever, but if they ever have like a director's cut or whatever where there's like more bonus scenes and it's just like more of him, like they need to do that. They made Hobbs and Shaw, which The Rock, that makes sense. Yeah, him paired with Shaw, I could see it, whatever. But they need to make a movie with just like Jason Momoa, like like a spinoff of him, right? And maybe take some characters and like throw them in that, but they need to do a whole movie with Dante like Reyes, like
say they don't even do like say they don't even kill off his character, or even if they do, like they could do like something about like, you know, before he was you know, going after like the Fast family, you know, like
because it seemed in the flashbacks that they made that he was involved in his dad's business somehow or whatever, and it was actually,
and there was a lot of exposition too about how he was like fucking shit up before like Vin Diesel even knew about what he was up to, you know. Yeah.
And I think you know, when we first see him, he's kind of like, oh, this like hulking figure, and like, oh, this is like, and then like the next scene we see him, he's all like flamboyant and fun and fucking painting his nails and shit.
I remember he was saying too, this was kind of like in an interview where he was saying, because his mom, oh my bad, where he was kind of saying that his mom was he hated the color lavender, and so he wanted to have the crew come out with a lavender car, and so he's literally decked like to head so to toe in lavender. He's got the pink shirt, he's got the lavender pants, his nails are painted, you know, he's got the lavender bags with like all the money in it and shit.
Yeah, there's a scene where he's painting his nails, and he's painting 2 dead guys' toenails. Yeah. And they're so fucking funny.
Their faces are like taped up to make it look like they're smiling. Yeah. You know what he just kept reminding me of? Okay. It's like if you got Jared Leto's Joker, but you got Jason Momoa to do it, and he just did it way better. You know? Yeah. That's basically what it is. Yeah. It's like everything that would have been like cool about Jared Leto's Joker that wasn't done in Suicide Squad was what Jason Momoa did basically with Fast and Furious.
And they kind of did a good job with that character, because it's like they made him like a certain way, but then it was like a show and tell. So
pretty much.
They basically like told you that he was evil and all that, but then they showed you like this dude blew up the Vatican.
Yeah. Well,
he attempted to blow up the Vatican. Like that's fucked up, you know.
That was a big ass bomb.
Yeah, and it's not. He didn't like. He didn't just do that. It's like he also like caused havoc to like all of Rome.
Yeah.
And then you know the scene that I was talking about with the two dead dudes.
Yeah.
It's like that shit was evil. And the fact that they're like showing us that it's funny,
yeah.
but it's also like very Joker-esque because that's something the Joker would do.
Pretty much.
And the way that he gets people to work for him is by like kidnapping their families, which is so funny.
Which is literally what Joker did in like Suicide Squad. Remember?
Yeah.
When he breaks into what was it, Arkham? Or I think it was like Blackgate or something.
No, it was like the science thing to get get the chips or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I really like blocked out that movie from like my my thing. But yeah, man, and then like there's one scene there's a scene in this movie where me and Dave like looked at each other and we were like, okay. It's a scene where Vin Diesel. So there's a scene where Vin Diesel like lifts a car up with one hand. With one hand. Yes. Like he literally bends down like this and just lifts a car.
Lifts it.
Like what the fuck? Like this kind of is like that thing that I was talking about where after Fast 5 shit just got weird. Like he's all of a sudden a superhero or whatever. Like
you know what? It's I think these movies are really fun to watch if you think for some reason like okay, like I think government funding just kind of gives you like superpowers. Yeah, I think that's like that's the logic that they're trying to push.
That's exactly because I haven't seen Hobbs and Shaw, but I know that aren't they fighting like a guy that has like superpowers?
Idris Elba, yeah.
But it's government owned like tech or something, right?
Yeah,
and it gives him superpowers.
Pretty much. I don't know his name. I don't know his name, but he literally calls himself Black Superman. So I'm like. But that's Idris Elba's character in Hobbs and Shaw. It's actually pretty neat.
I've heard it was good.
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool. It makes a little more sense if you think of it on like a set, like in the aspect of like it being more of like an Avengers style like movie, but just not really comic book based. You know, these guys are obviously fucking superhuman. Yeah. Does it make any sense? No, but like
it doesn't
let's just have some goddamn fun, you know? Like,
it's like the John Wick movies, like like with all the things he goes through, specifically in the fourth movie, involving stairs, like it doesn't make sense for him to get up. But hey, it's John Wick,
dude,
right?
I haven't seen the fourth one yet, but even in the
you're fucking up, dude. How are we gonna have a film podcast and you're not seeing shit?
I was trying to watch the last chapter last night. I bought the movie. I fell asleep 20 minutes in. I was just so tired, but I'm catching up though. We just finished Barry. We're catching up on Succession. Yeah. I mean, already teasing the next episode, but you know.
Yeah. Next episode's gonna be on that.
Yeah. But no, dude.
But yeah, Dom is like, you're just kind of like, oh, it's Dominic Toretto.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the way, like, I kind of like the way that, like The Rock does it, but I think The Rock does it in a way where you can sense his ego. But, like, Vin Diesel creates his character to be, like, these superhuman, ultra-masculine dudes because I think he's just having fun. And he doesn't take himself so seriously. Yeah. Especially, like, if you watch, like, interviews, like, with him on the red carpet and shit, like, he's having the time of his life.
Yeah, he's at a party, dude. It's like he's throwing a party. Like, I literally wouldn't be surprised if I were to find out that Vin Diesel really only funds these movies or, like, really only wants to get these movies going because he wants to just party with his friends. Yeah. Or, like, just have fun with his friends. Yeah. Like, I genuinely think that, like, he really believes that like these people are like actually like his family members and shit, and you know, of course, you know, you're on a movie set with, you know, those people for like years and years and years. I mean,
and you get to drive nice cars.
Yeah.
Like in the 7th movie, there's like all kinds of Lamborghinis and shit.
So Ludacris said it himself, like, because these movies make a lot of money. That's why we're making them. Like, it's like fuck, man. I mean,
really. I was gonna compare Vin Diesel. So, like, to me, Vin Diesel is, like, the Pitbull of movies. Yeah. Like, Pitbull's, like, a rapper or whatever, but he knows he's not, like, Kendrick or J. Cole. He's just fucking having a good time, and his songs fucking sell. Yeah. and they're fun. They're fun songs.
He is Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide.
He is Mr. Worldwide.
That's what Vin Diesel is to cinema.
Yeah.
He knows
exactly.
Actually,
I
think deep down he knows like they're not Oscar award-winning screenplays or whatever.
Nope.
However, if they ever finally introduce a stunt category to the Oscars, this would definitely be a contender, as would John Wick and all that shit. But they're, that's in discussion. But Vin Diesel is like just having the time of his life. He knows he's making money. He knows he's making the studio money. And it's like, it's fun. Like, I had such a good time watching it. I would watch it again. It's definitely like my guilty pleasure. Well, I'm not even guilty about it. It's like they're fun movies.
Yeah.
And they are the definition of like, because besides MCU movies, like, we don't really have blockbusters anymore.
Or like major franchises that carry on for a length of time, because Disney just kind of consolidated all that. They took it. They took it all. They took it all, man.
So like this is the definition of like a great summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
That's just, you just go to the fucking movie theater.
Yeah.
You get your ass in that seat, which Top Gun did the same thing. Top Gun Maverick did the same thing.
Yep.
But you get your ass in the seat. You get yourself some popcorn, maybe a beer, get some wings, and just fucking enjoy yourself. And that's what this movie is.
It's good fun. It's
so fun. It's funny.
I was never bored watching.
Never
these
bored.
movies.
I was
never
bored.
once bored watching these movies.
I think something that makes me laugh about this one, and when I had watched Fast 10, I had not seen any of the other Fast and the Furious movies, but something that makes me laugh is like in every single movie. And when I watched Fast 10, I was like, oh, what the hell is this? But it makes sense because in every single movie, there's that one scene where it's just like a music video.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like and there's one of them in each movie.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and there's like fucking music video, and then they got bitches, and then they got cars, and they got pouring shots of Patron over here. And I'm like, yo, that shit's baller, bro.
Yeah.
That shit looks so fun.
And they throw.
And there's a lot of that.
They throw that in every movie.
Yeah, but in this one, it's like, there's some parts where it's like, yeah, that's cool.
I did like how in Fast X they went back to like the racing roots, like at least even for like just one scene,
Yeah.
Like it was like
they went back to Brazil, which was in Fast 5, Fast 8.
Yeah.
I think 6.
Yeah, but
is there anything else to say on this movie?
I don't know.
I don't think there's anything else to say other than go see the movie. It's really fun.
Yeah.
And honestly, like if you haven't seen the franchise, like watch the franchise. It's really kind of satisfying to see them go from the first movie to where they're at now.
Yeah.
Because you're like, damn, this is like a bunch of people that's working really, really hard to give us the best movie experience they possibly can.
It's very much what Martin Scorsese had said about how certain movies are like theme rides or like theme parks, Yeah. And
it's definitely a ride.
Who doesn't love a fucking roller coaster?
Yeah.
That's exactly what they are. And even people that go into these movies to like laugh and make fun of it, I mean, shit, they're still having fun.
Yeah.
Anyways,
that's what I did.
Either way, so it's like
that's what we did.
Yeah,
and we had fucking blast.
Dude, I gotta remember the first scene that we were talking about. It was like Dom's car doing donuts in the parking lot.
Oh, we forgot to discuss that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, the opening scene is Dom's car doing like all types of fucking
drifting,
crazy
fucking just
car
doing
maneuvers,
figure eights,
and then like the camera, closes in and Dom gets out of the passenger seat.
Yeah.
And then it cuts and we see who's in the driver's seat, and it's Dom's like 10-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Little Brian.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking funny because you're like, wait, hold on.
So
like this kid was doing all of like, what?
Right off the bat, they're already starting with it,
Yeah, they're like, hey, this is what kind of movie this is.
Pretty much.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. And like, yeah, and before we go, we definitely want to discuss the ending. So it ends on an insane cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And there's one mid-credit scene. The cliffhanger, I don't know how they're gonna
I think I can probably figure out how they're gonna do it.
Well, cause like the plague that the movies suffer is they always bring back dead characters. So, if for whatever reason all those characters are like safe, that wouldn't make a lot of sense. Yeah. And if they do that, it's like, okay, come on, like, what are you doing here? But if they stick to some characters like being dead, then okay, that makes sense.
Do you think spoiler? Do you think John Cena is alive?
No, he's dead.
No.
No. Yeah. I feel like, I mean, there's multiple instances where characters seem dead. Yeah. And then they come back, but I feel like
that was a pretty definite.
That was
a pretty definite.
They really like held on to this the shot though. Yeah. Like where they showed the burning car. Yeah. So like I don't know.
So I'm thinking too like.
And then at the end of the movie, so if you guys have seen Fast 6, which is the one with the plane? 6. Shit. It's 6. In Fast 6. What did they do with
the plane in 6?
They crashed the plane. Remember, there's a bunch of cars in the plane.
Oh yeah.
And then they crash at the very end.
Yeah.
So in 6, when Gal Gadot like falls to her death, or I don't know. So they bring her back. So she's back. Yeah. At the very end, she's back, which is crazy because like the character Han, who died and then they brought back. Yeah. Which I need to watch Fast 9 because they bring him back in Fast 9, right? Yeah. Yeah. So he died in Tokyo Drift. And then it's later shown that Deckard Shaw was the one that killed him, who's the villain in Fast 7. So his character suffered a huge loss because they were together, him and Gal Gadot. Yeah. Which in retrospect is really funny because then she went on to become Wonder Woman and like all that shit. And right. And that like doesn't make sense that she would like be with him or whatever. But they could do that. They could get away with that at that time. They could. But she's back. She's alive. Yeah. And they even like poke fun at like the fact that she's back because like Charlize Theron's character, who she's like, "You surprised as I am?" Or like some shit like that. Some shit. And so I'm really excited. Like I'm guessing Han is gonna be alive from the plane crash because they need to pay that off.
I'm thinking I'm thinking that Ludacris and Tyrese and all. I didn't even like we didn't see the plane like when it blew up, so I'm sure they're gonna pull some slick shit like in the next one. Yeah. I didn't even like factor that in. I was like, nah. Yeah. I was like, I don't buy it.
So they gotta pay that off somehow because Han and Gal Gadot's character, I think her name was, Isabella or something. I don't know. I don't think that was her name. But they definitely have to pay that off, and
they crammed so many people in this movie.
Yes, I think an unbelievable amount of people. Yeah, so they were trying to do like Endgame. Pretty much
Endgame like level cast, but I don't think that they knew how to juggle any of it really. Like they could only handle like, I think the most like that I was clinging onto story wise, I was interested in Dante, and then I was interested in like the stuff that was going on with like Vin Diesel or whatever he had going on. So yeah, that was really it.
Yeah, and honestly, like it pretty much stayed like on Vin Diesel's.
Pretty
like
much
the whole time. Like it really was like about like Dante and Vin Diesel. Yeah. And then everyone's kind of supporting. Yeah. And I feel like in the other movies they kind of like jump around with like, okay, it's about Dom, or no, it's about Brian.
And there were so many cameos to the point where I remember. Oh, okay, no. I remember really being interested in like John Cena's like storyline too. Mm-hmm. But aside from that, I remember it just got to a point where there were so many cameos that by the time Pete Davidson showed up, I was like, oh.
Pete Davidson.
Yeah, Pete Davidson.
Have you seen Bubkiss?
I haven't.
Okay, so Bubkiss is on Peacock. There's this scene, or there's an episode, I think it's episode 4 or some shit. Yeah. Where Pete Davidson is fired from the next Fast and Furious movie. So it's like a take. Wow. Yeah, it's like a take on his real life, but it's like fictionalized. Oh. So he's playing like a fictionalized version of himself, right? Oh. So in the episode, he's fired from the next Fast and Furious movie because he's of his behavior or whatever. Yeah. And so the whole episode is like, you should really watch it. It's really good. Joe Pesci's in it. Nice. the whole episode.
You said it was on Amazon?
Peacock. The whole episode is basically he has to show up to Miami to Vin Diesel's daughter's birthday and perform. and if he can show up there, then they'll give him the role. And so the whole episode is like Fast and the Furious themed.
Oh shit!
And they don't mention anything about him, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So I've seen that episode. So then when I saw him in the Fast and Furious, I was like, wait, is this like what is this? This is so funny because he was just had a whole episode about that.
Yeah, it's like autobiographical in a way.
Exactly. And he was basically telling us like, oh, he's in the next Fast and the Furious movie.
Oh wow!
And he is. It's so funny.
He
has a really small scene, but it's really good. I think that's like when I went to go take a piss.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
So yeah, but that was such a great little cameo, I think, because Pete Davidson and they're kind of like, it's kind of like an artist like Drake, who just like boom, let's do all these features of popping people right now, and that's literally what Fast 10 does. It's like Vin Diesel's like, oh, okay, John Cena, okay, yeah, we'll get John Cena. I feel like they've Gal Gadot, yeah.
I feel like they kind of like got to a point where they were doing that like continuously, you know. They were doing it on a pretty consistent basis.
That's what it feels like, bro. It feels like a Pitbull album.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like just a album just with bangers, and then but awesome features.
They're playing the hits.
Literally, playing the hits. And you know like what it is.
I'll walk away from the conversation saying this. For all that the Fast and Furious is, I will say the one thing that I don't like about the franchise, and one thing that I do, and one of the things that I don't like about the franchise is that, look, you're showing people getting mangled up in cars, and I get it, like you want to speak to a wider audience, but you guys can kind of afford to, you know, show. I don't know about you, but it kind of felt like Black Panther at some point where they were just afraid to show any kind of blood.
Yeah,
you know, like they're like,
well, like in Fast 7, him and Deckard Shaw are going 80 miles per hour and just crash head on. Yeah. And they have like a little scratch.
Yeah, exactly. They only have like scratches like above the brow. Like
and he's like, oh, ever. And he like tears the door off, I think.
Yeah. And so
it's hilarious.
So kind of where they do go wrong in the series, I think, is not only that, but not just that, but because you're not Disney, you know, you're not Disney. So it's like, what are you hiding behind? You know, like what are you afraid of? You know, like come on, like let's ramp it up a little bit. You know, y'all are
exactly.
And so not only that, but I also feel like with for all the threatening and like the menace that Dante like has as a character, I feel like he's still just, the Fast and Furious movies don't really have like, I guess you could say, they don't really have the balls to like actually go like the full way with it. You know, like he almost blew up the Vatican. See, I don't know, if it were me, dude, I would have blown up the Vatican. You know, like let's get fucking serious.
Yeah. We don't gotta. And so, you know, just do it.
There was just so much in the movie that was like, oh, almost, and it never like fully like got there. You know, like it never fully like went there up until like the end, where maybe Ludacris and Tyrese Gibson died. You know, maybe John Cena's character is actually dead. You know, like up until the end, you know, like it didn't start getting more and more serious. But
I don't know any other reason why these movies aren't rated R, other than the fact that they want more people to come see the movie. Yeah. So they rate it PG-13.
But if you, I don't know.
Just go for it. Like,
if it was rated R, like I feel like more people would show up. You know, I mean,
that's a tough line.
It is.
That's a tough line to walk.
It is,
because it's like, as a studio, you're like.
And then I guess you also have to think too, like about the demographics of like, you know, like, well, what kind of people do actually watch these movies? Are they like religious people? Are they people that are like, you know, not really into the blood and gore? Are they, you know?
They're not ever going to do that, because Vin Diesel's whole thing is like, you can take your family to see this.
Yeah.
Because it's about family.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that they're never going to do that. So never mind.
So, you know, like I said, that was one of the complaints that I had. Another complaint I had is, God damn it, dude. You guys have to get rid of the no lose fight clause in y'all's contracts. Yeah. These movies would be so much better, would have so much more stakes if y'all just didn't have. I mean, I would have had it so that, like, I remember when they were fighting on the bridge, Momoa and Vin Diesel. They were fighting on the bridge, and Vin Diesel beats the shit out of Jason Momoa. And I was thinking to myself, like, it would have been so much cooler if Momoa had beaten the shit out of Vin Diesel. Like,
yeah. Just go full like.
Because not only just make him like a threat, like with all that he can do, but like physically he's a threat as well.
Yeah, like they were trying to like tiptoe on the levels of Infinity War.
Yeah.
But like never fully went there.
Yeah.
But this seemed like a movie to where like, especially because of the ending, like you can give us our Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like let's take a L.
Yeah.
And then redeem them in the next movie.
Yeah, basically. I mean, you guys could totally do, like Empire Strikes Back type thing, like in the second movie, and then redeem it in the third.
Exactly.
But I don't know. I think Jason Statham, Dwayne Johnson, Vin Diesel, they would all just be. These movies would be a lot better if they just didn't take themselves as seriously as they do, like when it comes to the fight clause thing,
Yeah, these fucking people, man.
Which
their egos.
Which sucks. And the only reason I'm saying it sucks is because, I will get to the thing that I like about it. The thing that I really like about these Fast and Furious movies is, as ridiculous as they are, I don't see any other movie franchise trying to like come up with these crazy convoluted chase sequences, these crazy fight sequences, these like on foot chase sequences, the destruction that comes out of these movies, the explosions, all of that. They create these very exciting spectacles of movies, but they're holding back on they're losing out, and they're holding back on the things that they take too seriously, and so I don't know, but that being said, like I just don't see any other franchise like making movies like this,
Yeah,
so
absolutely not.
It's like Fast and Furious, for as ridiculous as they are, they're the only people that could be this ridiculous,
Yeah.
They seem to have like that privilege, basically.
Yeah.
And they like it's like they earned it,
Yeah. So yeah, guys. That was basically everything in a nutshell. Yeah. Our thoughts on the entire series. If you haven't seen the series, watch it. If you haven't seen this movie, go watch it. It's a really fun time at the theater, and you can take your family to go watch this. We're coming up on Father's Day, so if you want to take your dad to the theater, this is like a perfect film to go take your dad out to go see. It's just fucking
my dad
packed.
My dad would love to see these movies. Honestly, I think he would. No, I'm kidding. No, he would genuinely hate these movies.
Oh man,
he can't fucking stand it.
It's such a fun time though.
He hates it. He hates all of it. He's a curmudgeon. He's a Grinch when it comes to that shit. He will.
Wow. Well,
but
all right, guys, that was episode 2.
Well, shit. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
No. I think that was it. Next episode, we're gonna be kind of breaking down the series finales of Succession and Barry.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk a little bit about Martin Scorsese and what he's got going on.
Yeah.
Because there's some news that dropped recently, today actually, and last night, about his next project, as well as some his next project after Killers of the Flower Moon, but as well as Killers of the Flower Moon, we want to discuss that. Yeah. So
as well as the future, what the future may hold for Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
In the near future.
Yeah. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.